All right, hello everyone. Welcome. Emerson from Tracks VR here. We'll be competing today in the virtual to reality Sim Center Challenge. I'm going to hand you over to Howard here. He's going to introduce the event a little further and give a greeting from Tracks VR's owner. Here you go, Howard.
Hi everyone, it's Howard from Tracks VR. Welcome to our stream today. We're honored to be competing in virtual to reality TV. This is their first official race. They did have one beta race to just iron out some of the kinks. They're in qualifying right now, and our cars are both on track to get their times, qualifying times to get into the heats. Anyways, it's some heat races, and there are some cash prizes available. Virtual to Reality is a remote organization that has set up a number of sim centers throughout the United States, and then us, the only Canadian representatives. So go Canada today. Hopefully all of you can cheer on our two drivers here, Shane and Ethan. We're proud to be represented and representing Canada in this challenge. There's 50 drivers who are going to be attempting to win some prizes today. I'd like to just give a thank you, first of all, to my pit crew here at Tracks VR. I have an amazing group of individuals who are all very professional in how we are doing this, so we're hoping to have a really good stream here today. And then I'd also like to thank our sponsors. We have Moza Sim Racing. These guys are awesome. If you haven't tried Moza products, you can come on down to Tracks VR and try. We have a bunch of sims set up with their products. We really like how they're supporting us. And then we also have Memory Express. They build all of our they build all of our computers for the most part, or we get computer equipment there and build it. So they're a great partner of ours. And then we also power ourselves with Red Bull, but we're not allowed to have that up on the stream. So, but thank you to the fine folks at Red Bull, Mario in particular. And then I'd like to thank all the competitors who came in and attempted to qualify. So anyways, I'm going to turn it back over to Emerson here because it looks like we're on our last lap of qualifying.
Thank you, Howard. All right, we're going to switch cameras here. We're going to go over and tune in with Ethan, who's on his last lap qualifying. Got him on screen there. He's driving the Ferrari GT3 car. Shane, we will check in with right away here as well. He is in the Porsche GT3. Coming through, where are we here? This is coming up to turn 5. Going up the hill towards turn 6. This is one of my favorite corners here. Very challenging to get right. It's very fast if you get it right, but it's also at that speed very detrimental if you catch that little sausage curve on the inside. Ethan's coming up to the famous corkscrew here. Turn 7, hard on the brakes before he plunges down that steep descent down the corkscrew. And we'll see where he lands on this lap. Hopefully he gets a good time. This will be a bit of a biased broadcast, of course. We're going to be cheering on our Tracks VR drivers start to finish. Here he comes through turn 11 down the final straight. See what kind of time he gets. I don't know if we'll see the time on screen, unfortunately, unless I bring up this here. He jumped up to 14th. That lap time was a 1:23.4. That was actually a very fast lap for him. That's only a few tenths off of his qualifying time in the overall initial competition all through October that these guys are driving. Let's tune in with Shane here. See if he's still on track. I hope we didn't miss him. See if we can track Shane down on track here. Oh, it's not showing me the car liveries here. So every Porsche is going to look like... We're still learning the iRacing ropes on the fly here. Shane must be in a different session, possibly for qualifying. We're going to get back to Ethan. So for the format today, they are currently doing lone qualifying. They're on track by themselves. And then we have a series of elimination heat races. The top three of each heat race is going to be... top three of each heat race is moving on to the final feature race with 25 drivers. Bring up the overall format here. If they don't make it in the top three in the heat races, every driver is going to get a chance to compete in one of the two last chance races where the top five will be moving on to the feature race. So that brings a total of 50 drivers for the whole competition, the top 25 of which over the course of the heat races and the last chance races move on to the feature race with $1,600 for the grand prize, $1,600 US. There is cash prizes going down all the way to sixth position in that final race. So some good prizes on offer today. There were other prizes that have already happened. The top qualifier overall, I've forgotten his name. Unfortunately, it wasn't one of us, but they get to go to Skip Barber Racing School for a day. And there's also a random draw from all the qualifiers for a year subscription to iRacing. That's pretty cool as well. We'll be tuning into the heat races pretty soon here. So I'll leave you with an overview of our pit wall for a few minutes here, and we'll be chatting with you soon. You can see actually Howard in there giving our drivers a bit of a pep talk before the first heat race. All right, talk to you later. All right, I found our final results here. I had to do a little bit of digging in iRacing because I'm, again, learning this on the fly here. So there's, like I said, 50 drivers in total. Our drivers, we have Ethan Eng, car number 21. I believe he's in 25th overall. And then just a few rows down below, we have Shane in our Porsche. His lap time, I wish it doesn't show their position here. This is not in order, I see, but Shane's time, less than a tenth, only, what's that? That's 800ths off of Ethan's time with 22.933. So pretty close between our two drivers. I'm being pointed out here that that's not their, I'm looking at their practice time. Let's look at their qualifying time. Those are in order. Shane qualified with a 23.7, where Ethan qualified with 23.4. So not too bad, very close. Like I said, I just said it with the wrong times the first time. Anyways, we'll patch you back over to the pit wall.
Signal 2050-01. The entire population is under sleep. Oxygen levels are normal. We arriving at the destination. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We're going to bring up the heat race here. No, our drivers are not in this first heat race, but we're going to bring it up on screen here for you. All right, we are in the office here. We got one of our qualifying drivers. They are going to be in Heat 5, so it's a little over half hour away till their race. Ethan, how'd your qualifying go? Give us a rundown.
Yeah, my qualifying wasn't quite ideal. I unfortunately invalidated my first lap, my banker lap, so I couldn't really push on my second lap. I had to play it safe to make sure I got a lap on the board. So I ended up leaving a lot of time on the table just to make sure I can get a lap on the board.
So it looks like you and Shane qualified 5th and 6th, respectively. So probably starting side by side. I believe that would be third row start. Any plans as you send your cars down into the Andretti hairpin turn 2?
We'll see. Races are never won from into the first or second corner, so we'll see how it goes. It's really easy to make mistakes here, so maybe I'll bide my time, but it's tough to say. Looks like it's going to be a pretty competitive heat, so we'll play by ear.
Awesome, sounds good. Now Ethan's one of our longtime customers here at Tracks VR. He's been coming here since the early days, long before even I was working here. We were joking since he's been coming here since Tracks VR was a wee little lad. What's your experience with what do you feel like Tracks VR has offered in terms of sim racing experience in Calgary?
Yeah, I mean, I picked up an interest in sim racing and didn't have any equipment when I first started, and saw that a location had opened up in Calgary that offered a sim racing experience. So from starting there, just getting a taste of being able to drive a car fast around the lap to now, it's evolved quite a bit. I think it gives a lot of opportunity for people to find their love for racing in general. So yeah, it's grown quite a bit, and the experience has gotten better and better throughout the years.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, I think I remember the very first time I remember you came in, we were doing a hot lap challenge at the time of, it was Indy cars at Long Beach, and that was a particularly challenging combo, and this is my first time seeing him, and you got a lot of customers that come in that are plenty fast, but usually not challenging our times, but I'm pretty sure Ethan crushed my time down by at least a second or two on his first time here. So I'm like, okay, yeah, he knows what he's doing. Yeah, thanks again for doing a little interview for us, and good luck in the race.
Thanks a bunch. I'll try my best.
copy over. Running time jump program. Opening the vortex. Start the countdown. Mission log 2050-01. The entire population is under sleep. Oxygen levels are normal. We arriving at the destination. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Thanks for tuning in, folks. I see some people hearing us on in the chat, and it's much appreciated. We're currently watching Heat Race 2 right now. Currently following Tony Nagayan I don't recognize the Sim Center. That's the racing line. One spot ahead of Sim Racing Chicago, I believe, and right behind Superlap. Superlap had a lot of times very high up on the leaderboard. They're really high qualifiers, so they're gonna have a good race, I think. Tony's defending pretty hard there. This is a good race, actually. Looks like Matt's going to be setting up a pass pretty soon here. He's breathing really hard down Tony's neck. I've just been told that that Matt Busa, he's the Sim Racing Chicago car right behind Tony Nagayan. He was apparently one of the fastest qualifiers in the challenge all through October. Oh, he's making a move up. Oh, not quite. Not quite alongside enough to make that pass into turn 11. A bit of a bump coming out of turn 11. Got, what is it? A little over 4 minutes left in the race here. This is definitely the closest battle on track. I'll see a little further back. 7th and 6th. That's Andrew and Jared have a pretty close battle. Not as close as this one though. We're just gonna stick with this camera for now. Thank you, Moore. Much appreciated in the chat. This is I should also mention, this is actually the battle for the last spot of this heat to guarantee their spot into the final race later today. It's the top 3 of each heat that is guaranteed to go into the final race of the day. The other drivers will all go into the second chance race, but I'm sure Sim Racing Chicago, there he goes. There goes Matt up into 3rd place. Oh, they ran a little wide, a little too late of a lunge there, and E3 back to Tony. So a little bit longer, Tony can hold his breath and get his seat saved for the final race later today. Thank you, Evan Starling Racing, for sounding off in the chat. Thanks for the heart. We'll send you one back. Oh, there goes the pass for 3rd place. Matt Busa slipping into 3rd. He fell quite a bit back after he went off in turn 11 at the end of the previous lap, but I thought he was too far back to make a move so soon, but there he is. He made a move. Was that coming out of the corkscrew? I'm getting the nod. This 3rd place spot is still up for grabs. They're very close, only separated by a couple hundredths. The numbers are flashing too fast for me. They really... and they're actually only... Tony Nagayan in 4th is only 5 seconds off the leader, so if he goes off, I mean, he's got a pretty good lead at the moment, but could shake things up. Okay, Michael Polasek is just rounding through turn 11 with. Oh, actually, you know what? This might be checkered flag this time by. Looking at the race clock there, I think that is race over. All right, there we go. Just going to follow the, yeah, that was checkered flag. Finishing order, Michael Polasek, Russell in second, Matt Busa in third. They're moving on to the final race. All right, between race 3 and race 4, we'll be doing an interview with our other Tracks VR driver, Shane. We'll have your results from this race up on the screen for a couple seconds here. Oh, they're already gone. Too late. All right, race 3 should be starting in just a minute, and we'll have Shane in the booth for an interview momentarily. All right, we have Heat Race 3 starting here, but we've got Shane in the booth with us now. Shane's a new face to us. We've had some interactions previously, but he's actually our closest thing to competition in town, but so far it's been a friendly competition, and we're really happy to have him representing us today. Shane, how'd your qualifying go? Give us a rundown.
It went all right. The first lap was looking pretty decent, and I was planning on building on it, but then I kind of lost it a couple times, a couple corners. So a little bit hard, but we'll see kind of how the next couple heats go and whatnot. And yeah, it's been fun racing here at Tracks VR with all you guys, and everybody sitting there and you know chatting and hooting and hollering over what's going on in the race. So it's a lot of fun. So it's been just really nice to hang out with you guys.
We talked with Ethan about this a little bit already, but it looks like you guys are going to be side by side on row 3 going into heat race number 5 here. Have you guys discussed how you guys are going to approach the Andretti hairpin turn number 2?
It's pretty simple. We're all going to, I think, take it pretty easy, and I'm going to try to protect Ethan and try to give him some room and see if we can kind of hang out and take advantage of anybody that maybe has a little bit of carnage. Hang on, crazy little investing here. Oh, here we go, side by side. But yeah, it should be good. We'll see. See you.
Excellent. Well, it sounds very good. Very much a team effort today, by the sounds of it. We weren't sure if we were going to have both our drivers in the same heat or not until post-qualifying, but should be exciting having both Tracks VR cars. Shane's going to be driving the Porsche 911, and we're going to have Ethan in the Ferrari. So it should be good. Good luck in your race there, Shane.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys, and hopefully we can do something.
Program. Opening the vortex. Start the countdown.
All right, we're coming back into the broadcast here. Ooh, clipping the microphone a little bit. I'm just going to move that a little further away. We got one of the only Mustangs, I think might be the only Mustang of the grid in this heat race. It was very much a Porsche-centric event here. Porsche is definitely the popular car. Early on, the Corvettes in the October qualifying, that is, the Corvettes seemed to be the strong car initially, but pretty quickly it switched to favor the Porsche. We have one of the Porsches on the track ourselves, not in this race, obviously. There's a couple other random cars, not in this race by the looks of it, but there's one Lamborghini, I think, that will be racing today. One Audi, I think 2 BMWs. It's going to look like Porsche Cup races intermixed with with a couple other brands here and there in all the races today by the looks of it. Right now, top 3 cars, we have Paul Darling, Kevin Rold, and Jake Crage. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Those 2 are currently looking favorable to make it into the final race later this afternoon. But we still got 7.5 minutes left in the race here. It's anyone's game. So it looks like Paul Darling is representing Super Lap. Let's take a look at Kevin there in the Corvette. See if we can identify where he's Super Lap as well. So it looks like it's a Super Lap 1-2. Jake in P3, his partner was representing the same center at Sim Center. I'm still trying to grasp that logo. We're going to pull it up on one of our other screens here to see what Sim Center he's representing. As far as I can tell, they must be from Texas, judging by the liveries there. They got the "Don't Tread on Me" on the one door and the overall Texas flag on the livery. It looks pretty cool.
We are arriving at the destination. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We've got the answer for that Texas one here. It is One Line Racing Center is who Jake Crage is representing. Looks like the top 3 are pretty well dispersed. Superlap looking strong out there, and Jake Crage's got a bit of a buffer front and back. Looks like there's actually a closer battle between Sim Racing Chicago and the fastest lap down in, if I can tell correctly, it's either 4th and 5th or 5th and 6th. I'm thinking that's 4th and 5th because I see SRC 12 is the label for that Porsche there, which I can only assume stands for Sim Racing Chicago. Thanks for sounding off in the chat there, Candace, and thanks for using the correct color of heart. We don't have any dog emojis, so we're sending you some cat emojis. We got a little bit closer racing towards the back of the field here between Malcolm and Ricardo. We're going to tune into them. Looks like that's the Mustang, and what is Ricardo driving? Sorry, Ricardo is in the Mustang, Malcolm is in the Porsche. 3 minutes still left on the clock there. going back over to Sim Racing Chicago and Freddie. They've closed up the gap a little bit again. I believe that we are on the final lap now, or no, we're not. No, we're not. I was just trying to think if I saw the countdown reach 0 or not here. Just to clarify, in case anyone does get confused by it, and I know I was confused the first couple times, the way iRacing is delivering the time, the race time telemetry. Once the session's over, when it reaches 0, it starts a countdown clock to when the session fully closes. So if you see the countdown clock reach 0, then jump back up. It's not a time extension to the race. That is just a countdown clock. Oh, it looks like Freddie was looking up the inside briefly there on Sim Racing Chicago's representative driver. Not quite close enough to make a move yet, but he's definitely thinking about it. I believe it's going to be close. This could be final lap. There's 30 seconds on the clock. P1 is just rounding through turn 10 right now. I think he's going to get one more lap. So I think we're going into the final lap once the leader rounds turn 11. Yes, sorry, I was mistaken. I think the checkered flag's coming out now because it's now showing the checkered flag. Let's quickly jump over to the leader here. There he is, crossing the line. I caught him just in time, and then, well, that's safety car. There's P2 from Super Lap, Kevin Rolled, and Jake crossing the line in third. Those are going to be the 3 drivers. Moving on to the final race later this afternoon. We have the results shown on screen here briefly here. Looks like the Heat 3 results are displayed all the way over on the right-hand side. Oh, and there it goes. All right, so this is the final race before our drivers are on track here. So we're moving on to 4. Looks like one of our drivers they're getting ready a little early. Got Ethan, and then this is our space we are racing from. We got Shane on the left, Ethan racing on the right. It'd be a good race as we found out to final race. All right, we are on lap 2 of Heat Race 4 here. We were just getting some controls mapped here. The better the viewing experience. P1, Nathan Olson, representing Sim Race in Chicago, just coming through the corkscrew for the second time. Raphael Leon in Ferrari. Trying to recognize sponsor paddock. I'm not familiar with that one is there. I think they have some sort of association with B2R. I could be completely mistaken, so I apologize if that is not correct. And then Will Salisbury for Send It Sim Racing with the very vibrant purple and black liveried Porsche there. Trenton McMillan in another Porsche from Superlap as well. So Superlap has been in every race so far today. I believe they had 6 slots total for this this championship. Oh, there's another Send It car right behind Superlap. And then I imagine we are following Brendan Grasley in P6 in the Ferrari, and then we have Andreas Luna in another Ferrari, and Tucker in the rear with a McLaren for race mode. Tuning back in with the leader, Nathan, with Sim Racing Chicago's Porsche, climbing up the hill towards turn 7 and plummeting down 8A and B for the corkscrew. So far, not a lot of big gaps between all the drivers on the grid there, but no one quite close enough to make a move at the moment. Our drivers Ethan and Shane are just getting ready. We'll tune into them here in the pit wall. They're just doing a little bit of spectating, studying everyone's racing lines, making sure they got their game plan ready for the heat race coming up in just under 7 minutes. We'll be bringing you the action live full screen this time when we get our Tracks VR drivers on track. Like I said, this is going to be a bit of a biased broadcast, no doubt about it. We're going to be rooting for Shane and Ethan big time coming into the race. Closest battle on track right now between Brendan and Andreas in the 2 Ferraris. I've forgotten who they're representing here, but they're the closest battle on track right now.
The entire population is under sleep. oxygen levels are normal. We are arriving at the destination. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, we are about 3 minutes away from Heat 5, where we'll have two of our Tracks VR drivers represented coming up here right away. They're qualified on the third row, fifth and sixth, respectively, for Ethan and Shane. Gonna be a good race. I know they have a bit of a game plan since they're qualifying next to each other. That'd be cool seeing those two Tracks VR cars, the Ferrari and the Porsche, side by side when we get to the race in around 3.5 minutes. Looks like the boss man Howard is in the office there, ready to give them a bit of a rah go Tracks VR going into the race here right away here. Our closest battle right now is between 6th and 7th, still between Brendan and Andreas. They're really on par with each other's pace here. Going into the final round as it currently stands, unless something changes, we got Nathan, Raphael, and Will in that order are the two in the top three so far, with their spot looking safe to go into the feature race later this afternoon. We're going to cut over to Will here in a second. He's the third place car. He's got the fourth place, Trenton, not far behind him in another Porsche. Looks like it's Send It Sim Racing versus Superlap. Superlap's looking strong so far. They had two people make it into the feature race out of heat number 3 it was. And then a minute and a half to go. This is possibly the final lap. We'll tune in with the leader as he rounds turn 10 or 11 when he comes there, but right now they're in turn 3, and the battle for P3, the final slot, is going into turn 3 now as well, as they go underneath the Firestone Bridge up to turn 4. If Trenton wants a chance at it, he's going to have to tuck into his slipstream and follow Will all the way up to the corkscrew and maybe make a lunge onto the inside going to the corkscrew. That's how I would approach it myself anyways. It's a really fast corner through turn number 7. That's the fast kink that they're rounding right now. A little bit of too much of a slipstream, you might get some dirty air, and very prone to sending you wide there. It's I know the corkscrew is the famous corner of the track, but turn 7 is honestly my favorite corner of the track. It's really good for racing there. They just came to the corkscrew, coming up to the last couple corners here. The countdown hasn't run out yet. The leader is just rounding through turn 11. Oh, yep, checkered flag is coming out this time by. Looks like Nathan Olson is coming across the line to secure his spot into the feature race later this afternoon with Raphael in third. Let's quickly cut over to Will. They're not far behind with Trenton. Looks like Will is safe moving on into the feature race there. That was a very exciting battle for that final slot there. All right, we're going to cut over to our results here in just a moment here before we get onto the full screen broadcast of the Tracks VR drivers competing in heat race number 5. All right, we're switching over to our full screen view here. Looks like we got Shane on the outside line in the Porsche and Ethan in the Ferrari on the inside line going to green any minute here now. Let me just get my leaderboard back up here. We need top 3 to make it into the final feature race of today. We got we got Theodore Serki in super lap. Yes, that is correct. I was just trying to make sense of this grid order here. It looks like pole is on the inside line, and then we have Tyler A. I don't recognize where he's from. Tyler A. King, and Jason Ripple in P3 for Grid Lounge. And then P4, you have Dmitry Lukhanov from, I don't recognize where. And Trax VR, Ethan Eng, and Shane Shayak on the 3rd row. Looks like this is a less populated heat race than the other ones. Here comes green flag any minute here now. Coming through turn 11, and there's green flag. Here we go. Looks like a car spotted between Shane and Ethan. Ethan's on the outside of, I believe that's Theodore. Oh, big wreck into turn 2. Oh, and then Ethan slipped into P2. Yeah, let's go, Ethan. Come on. And Shane's a little bit caught up behind 2 of the other Porsches there. He's looking up the inside of the number 27 car of Nicholas, I believe. This is all the cards are coming up Trax VR right now. So far, Ethan's looking good where he's at. He's got a nice buffer behind him. Shane's gonna have to. Ooh, was there a bump there between the P3 and P4 cars? I couldn't quite tell. I'm actually gonna back this up here a little bit. I want to. Ooh, too far. Oh my goodness! I just jump back to real time. I don't know the iRacing controls well enough yet, apparently. I just wanted to see if there was some contact there. There definitely wasn't. Let's get back to Ethan. I think he's still on zone. Yeah, he's still on zone. We'll focus on Shane right now. He's the. Oh my goodness! Coming up to turn 10, looking up the outside a little bit. Not quite enough room to make a move. He's looking up inside, looking up outside, trying to find anywhere. He's going to get a little later apex than this number 4 car. I believe this is Nicholas. I could be wrong. We'll get a revised grid order when they cross the line here. That is correct. That is Nicholas in P4, Shane in P5. Ethan's got a nice gap at the moment to the car behind him. I'm sure he'd like to have a bigger gap than that. But right now, Shane pushing hard to get ahead of Nicholas. Looking good. Dmitry has got pretty close to Ethan at this point here. He's going to have a bit of a slipstream. Hopefully Ethan can keep him behind him as we round through turn 6 here. Tyler A. King in the lead. I missed what kind of car he's driving, or I forgot what kind of car he's driving. He's in the Corvette. Like I said, was that a super lap driver? That is a super lap driver. They're very strong here, so Ethan's got his work cut out for him, but I think he can do it. But right now, his attention is going to be on staying ahead of Dmitry. So far, so good. He's got a decent gap behind him. I don't think Dimitri's going to have too strong of a slipstream at that distance. So hopefully Ethan can keep it nice and clean. He's looking good so far. I haven't seen him set a foot wrong yet. He made some really opportunistic passes going into turn 1 with all the carnage. Sorry, turn 2, the Andretti hairpin, with all the carnage happening on lap 1. All pretty close racing here between P2 and P5. Not a lot of time separating all of them. Right now, Dmitry is probably looking at his mirrors with Nicholas there, so hopefully Ethan can see that he's defending. Oh, Dmitry saw something there, and he was going for a pass at the inside. Didn't quite have enough room, thank goodness. Ethan's pushing hard there. What I was trying to say before I got distracted with that is hopefully Ethan can push hard now while Dimitri's focusing on keeping Nicholas behind him. And with those two battling, maybe that'll give Shane a chance to slip up on the P4 driver, and maybe, fingers crossed, knock on wood, we can get P2 and P3 secured for both our Trax VR drivers. Coming up to turn 10 here, just coming out of turn 9. Dimitri's still trying to hunt down Ethan, but not quite close enough to make a move, at least not in my book. I hope he doesn't try to make a lunge from that far back. So far, it's all really clean, gentlemanly racing between all of them. This is what I like to see. This is good quality racing. Ooh. Dimitri's really close behind Ethan there. Hopefully Ethan can make some good defensive moves going into the Andretti hairpin as they round through turn 1. Yeah, nice and tidy from all 4 drivers there. Really good. Shane just hanging back there, looking for the right opportunity to not hurt his own race and not hurt Ethan's race either. I know they had some good conversations between the two of them to get a good team effort for today, and so far I'm really liking what they're seeing here. Battle between Dimitri and Nicholas is still quite close. I mean, the whole battle's close, but I'd say the smallest gap is between P3 and P4, which is exactly what we want, because that's going to slow those two down to help Shane stay close and help Ethan have a little more breathing room. Looks like Dimitri's actually closed in on Ethan again here, but Ethan's holding this line really well. It's looking good so far. Coming through turn 9, coming up to turn 10. I know Dimitri had made a couple peeks up the inside on previous laps there, but still not close enough to make a move on our Track 3R driver in the Ferrari. Shane has closed the gap on Nicholas a little bit here by the looks of it. Hopefully he gets some slipstream on the front straightaway as they come up to the Andretti hairpin at the bottom of the hill here, turns 2. 4 minutes left to go in the race here. A nice second place so far in the race. If you missed the start of the race, it was I think it was P2 and P3 of the original starting order. One of those cars went off onto the outside into the Andretti hairpin, which was turn 2. Ethan made a nice move to slip himself alongside, I believe it was actually Nicholas at the time in P2, and Ethan snuck in on the inside going into the Andretti hairpin and made his way into second place. Since then, Dimitri and Nicholas have swapped places, and Shane's been sticking with the pack the entire time. He's not far off of getting himself into this feature race later as well. We want both Ethan and Shane, hopefully, in P2 and P3, so we can guarantee both of them into the final race. But there's cash up for grabs for the top 6 finishers of that race. That's going to be a busy race. There's going to be 25 cars in the feature race later today. Shane's sticking close there. There was some close racing between Dimitri and Nicholas. It seems like they've lost a little bit of ground on Ethan briefly, but if I say a little bit, I really mean a little bit. Oh! I think I saw Shane side by side with Nicholas there in turn 11 briefly. I think that maybe he made a bit of a move there, hoping to not run out of space and get a good exit, but I think it didn't quite pay off. See, he's lost a little bit of ground to Nicholas there, but Nicholas and Dimitri are still battling hard there, so any bumping between them is going to slow those two down, and Shane's going to be right back in there with them. Dimitri is still looking up the inside every once in a while on Ethan. He definitely wants to make a move, but so far he's managing to keep them back and hold his second place spot. Dimitri's trying to find a spot there, but nothing has paid off for him yet. Ethan's holding his line very well. Ooh, this is a dangerous spot to make a move. I hope he doesn't pass him there. There's not a lot. The room of track width runs out very quickly when you try to go side by side through turn 7 there. So I saw. Oh no! Ethan got bumped from behind with the carnage behind, but I think he's okay. And then and Shane slips through to third. Oh boy, that was Ethan may have been given a slowdown penalty, I'm being told here, because he was forced to cut the track, unfortunately. But we got one more lap to go. Hopefully Shane chasing down Nicholas is enough to slow down Nicholas and to get one car ahead and maybe slow him down enough that Ethan can find a chance to slip on through into one of the top 3 spots as well. I don't know if I finished my thought here. Ethan was forced to cut the track because Dimitri and Nicholas came together coming up to the corkscrew. And in that bump, Dimitri's car got pushed forwards into Ethan, which basically sped his car back up as they're slowing down for the really slow corkscrew. And he had no choice but to slip across. That would be turn 8B, the right-hand corner coming out of the corkscrew. And that's why we're suspecting the forced to slow down penalty, which Nicholas and Shane were able to slip up into second and third respectively. So right now we still have one driver in the top 3 that will be moving on to the feature race if this order stays the same. Checkered flag's coming out this time by. I just saw the timer count down. We have Tyler A. King. Oh no, Ethan! He went off just before turn 10. Hold that spot. Ah, bummer. Luckily, he will get a chance to race in that second chance race. Let's cut over to Nicholas and Shane coming across. Shane is moving on to the feature race later today. So that's Shane qualified. Well done, Shane. Ethan, you pushed hard. It's unfortunate the little bit of a bump you had there going into the corkscrew. We might bring the drivers in for a post-race interview here. If they're not in the first of the second chance races, we've got the second chance races coming up here right away. All right, looks like there is some catch-up races, what I understand it, before we get on to the second chance races, the way I understand it. Although I do see some drivers in here, so this might actually be the first of the 2 second chance races. Because I recognize the Freddie Toth name, and that's the only name I actually recognize. But the way I understand it, these are some makeup races for some drivers that didn't make it in earlier. I may be mistaken, but we're going to bring the action back to you as soon as we can here with the second chance races. We're currently reviewing the incident between Ethan going into the corkscrew and the P3 and P4 drivers that caused it. But otherwise, Ethan will be making it into the second chance race to give him one more shot at getting into the final feature race.
Do you copy over? Running time jump program. Opening the vortex. Start the countdown.
All right, we got second chance race number 2 coming up here momentarily. We have our driver Ethan Ang. Unfortunate situation that dropped him out of P2. I think he fell down to P4 or 5. Didn't make it, didn't guarantee his slot into the feature race yet, but second chance is coming up. Hopefully he gets a good starting position in the second chance race. He was racing really hard. He didn't set a foot wrong all race long, and even the incident that dropped him out. As you can see in our chat section, we filed an incident report for it. No guarantee anything's going to happen there, but second chance race regardless. Give him one more shot to get to that feature race for that sweet, sweet U.S. cash.
Oxygen levels are normal. We are arriving at the destination. 5, 4, 3.
All right, we're having the final cars coming across the line for the second chance number 1. Looks like Dimitri, the other car that got caught up in that situation, has made it through. He won the second chance race, so he's making it into oh my goodness. This is not on screen right now. Let's see if we can I'm gonna rewind this a little bit. I'm not gonna get it, it's gone. Post race, two guys just absolutely obliterated themselves into the hairpin. There's one of them. I wish we caught that on stream, because that was quite the crash. iRacing does have, I have to admit, a very impressive damage model. It was pretty spectacular. It would have been heart-pounding and terrifying in real life, but that's this nice thing about sim racing is a quick reset gets your car nice and clean and pristine again. All right, we're moving on to second chance race number 2 here momentarily. We'll tune in with, sorry, muted the microphone by accident, with Ethan in the pit wall. Getting ready to go. For 21. Oh, let's go to starting grid. Oh, I was not muted for that. Just giving our camera director some instructions on how we're going to display this here. We got Ethan starting in positions aren't showing up here, which is annoying, so I have to count. That looks like P6. So he's going to be on the outside. No. 1, 2. If I count wrong, he's P5. I'm so confused here, admittedly. But I can see him there. It's the Ferrari third row back. He's going to be on the inside of third row going into the Andretti hairpin on lap 1. That's where he was at the start of the last race, and that paid off. He made it his way up to second place before turn 3 on the heat race he was in. So hopefully get a nice, clean, rolling start there. He's lined up beside a fastest lap driver and behind a Bendit sim racing driver driven by Tucker Parrish directly in front of him. Super lap driver Trenton McMillan in P2 by the looks of it. Here comes green flag any moment here, and green flag, here we go. He's got a nose ahead of the sim racing Chicago Porsche to his right, and he's alongside the super lap car, not quite far enough ahead to make a lunge up the inside there. Oh, but the super lap car runs way wide. Ethan slips into P3 just barely. He's going to fall back to P4 as super lap gets the inside line into turn 3, coming underneath the Firestone Bridge, making their way up to turn 4. It's my favorite spot to spectate at Laguna Seca. It's a really exciting corner, and he's just staying ahead of the sim racing Chicago driver of, I believe, Andrew Davis. As the sim racing Chicago driver looks up the inside going into turn 5, they come up to turn 6 side by side through turn 6. It's very daunting. Ethan snuck just ahead just before turn 6 there, coming up to the corkscrew right at the top of the hill there. They're in turn 7. They're going to be braking into turn 8A and B of the corkscrew, coming downhill here. Ethan's got a nice buffer front and rear at the moment there as the Sendit sim racing car and the super lap car duking it out. Super lap ran a little bit sideways out of turn 9. Ethan closed a little bit of a room, a little bit of a gap up to the Super Lap driver. And the Super Lap driver got even a couple of tires in the dirt there going into turn 11. So hopefully that'll give Ethan a nice lunge up behind him, getting that slipstream back towards the Andretti hairpin of turn 2. Not quite close enough to get a really strong slipstream, but he's not far back. In the second chance races, it is the top 5 drivers that advance. So he's got a little bit more room. So currently he's sitting in a safe spot. If he can sit here till the end of the race, he's still going to make it into the finale, but I'm sure he wants to have a little bit more of a buffer than one car behind him to secure his spot into the feature race later on. I'm sure he's gunning hard to try and catch Trenton McMillan of Superlap. He's not far off, definitely within reach. We've got just about 8 minutes left in the race here. We're only, I believe we're on the second lap here. I've been so enthralled with this race so far. I'm not even sure how many laps have gone by, but I think we're on lap 2. This is coming up the corkscrew again. Nice and tidy. He's still got a little bit of breathing room, both front and rear. Better part of a second to the Sim Racing Chicago driver, labeled as SRC 12 on the leaderboard, and a little under a second by the looks of it to Trenton in front. Trenton's making a pass up the inside, potentially not quite fully committed there. Oh, one of the Ferraris, I believe that's Andrew, if I remember correctly, went off in turn 10. And yeah, nice buffer to the rear now. I think I caught a glimpse of the Sim Racing Chicago driver dipping some tires into the dirt going to turn 11. I may have been misremembering that because I was more focused on the Ferrari further back of the grid. Ethan's got a very healthy buffer behind him. I hope he's concentrating on the Porsche of Superlap in front of him. Coming up to turn 5 here. This is a really critical corner because out of turn 5, it is uphill all the way from turn 5 all the way to turn 8 of the corkscrew. A good exit is very critical there because you want to carry as much momentum up the hill as possible. Tony Nagayan in the lead with Vondin, Henderson in P2, Trenton in P3, Ethan safely in P4 at the moment. Like I said earlier, I'm sure he's hoping for a little bit more security in holding a spot into the feature race later on than this, but so far he's doing good. If he absolutely needs to, he can play it cool, keep that Sim Racing Chicago driver behind them. Another car off on turn 10 there. That is the fastest lap driver. That looks like a Ferrari. Yes, it's a Ferrari, a fastest lap there. That's 2 different Ferraris that have run wide on turn 10 so far this race. Sim Racing Chicago car. I didn't catch the driver, but someone just set fastest lap with a 23.975. But what I was about to say before I got distracted by that is Sim Racing Chicago has closed the gap to Ethan. Even if Chicago gets past Ethan, he's still secure. So if it comes to whether it's a contact or not, I'm hoping Ethan recognizes that he can safely maybe let him through and still have his slot secured into the feature race there, but I hope he doesn't have to do that. Ideally, he can stay in 4th and maybe even slip up into 3rd there. Both Trenton and Vondin driving the 2 Porsches ahead of him are occasionally getting side by side, or one car looking at the inside of the other, which is going to slow them down, giving Ethan a chance to catch back up and maybe later in the race make a move. We've got 4 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock. Coming through turn 9 right now, the leader in turn 10, so not very far ahead. It's still anyone's game here. Ethan's, I can tell by the way he's moving there. He's thinking about making a move there. I can tell he knows he's not close enough to make that move yet. I think he's close enough to get a bit of a draft off of Trenton's car. Trenton's fallen back from Vondin a little bit here. So now Vondin's going to be paying attention to Ethan in his mirror, and Ethan's gunning hard. He's looking for that opportunity to slip up the inside. Sim Racing Chicago still not very far behind. It's a close battle for 3rd here overall. We got 3rd, 4th, and 5th, all separated by looks like 2 seconds or less. Coming through the corkscrew again here, 3 minutes on the clock. Still fairly close battle. Right now, Ethan's a little bit closer to Vondon than the Sim Racing Chicago driver is to Ethan, but not by much. It's still a very close race. Top 5 from this race are advancing into the finale. Right now, we have 1 driver qualified. Hopefully, we can get our second driver in, get both of our seats occupying a spot in the final race here. If you missed the interview we had with Ethan earlier today, Ethan is one of our longtime customers here at Trax VR. He's been coming here since 2019 or 2020. He's been a regular here and always been one of our fastest drivers. I mentioned earlier, I remember one of the first times I saw him come in here. We were doing a hot lap challenge on one of my favorite street courses on Long Beach with the Indy cars, and when we do our hot lap challenge like that, it wasn't all the time. It wasn't very frequently one of our customers that would come in and just absolutely trounce our lap times. But Ethan came in and dethroned much of us. I think he jumped right up to the top of the leaderboard on that visit. So my first experience with him as a Trax VR customer was seeing how naturally fast he is as a driver. So no surprise that he made it into our seat qualified for driving the Ferrari in this event for Trax VR. Still a close battle on screen there. The Sim Racing Chicago car got very close for a moment there, as being pointed out. Didn't get a chance to commentate on it because I was mid-thought there. But I believe we are starting the last lap right now. Just got the confirmation over the radio, white flag is coming out. So Tony Nagayan leading the race into the final lap. Trenton not terribly far behind him, but the close battle on track is still between 3, 4, and 5. Our driver right in the middle of that sandwich. There's another Sim Racing Chicago joining the party. That is no driver name applied there either. That is SRC 11 on the leaderboard. They're going to be battling it out there because between those two drivers, one of them is not making it as it currently stands. SRC 11 is in P6. I hope they're not thinking this, but the strategy for them there would be to slip ahead of Ethan and hold him up so both of them can make it through. But that's a big gamble on the last lap. So Ethan can probably they're distracted enough with each other, but Ethan can hold this position and get his spot in the race finale. Oh, he's making a move on Ethan there, but not quite close enough to make it pay off. We only got a few corners left here. Tony Nagayan, the super lap driver of Tony McMillan got a little bit wide there in turn 9. They're coming through turn 10. Here's turn 11. The leader, Tony, securing his spot here. Let's cut back to Ethan here. It's very close. There's 2 Porsches breathing down his neck. Ethan on the straightaway. I don't think they're not close enough to pass him before the finish there. And there we go. Ethan qualified for the final race there. Sorry, there was one of the Sim Racing Chicago drivers. He slipped in to take the last spot to get him in there. That is both of our drivers qualified for the feature race here. This, it was close because Ethan was already looking qualified earlier. But thank you. Getting a little bit excited there, and I must have been clipping. I got the microphone moved away here, but I'm sure he feels vindicated that he got his qualifying spot back in the finale there for the feature race. Very, very exciting. We will be back any moment here with the feature race where we have 25 drivers competing for a $1,600 grand prize, plus cash prizes going all the way down to 6th place. A total of, if I remember correctly, nearly $3,000 US for the total prize pool. I would have to double check to confirm that, but either way, very exciting. We have 2 Trax VR drivers. I hope they have a good qualifying start. I don't know if they're going based off of finishing order. We will get you the starting order as soon as possible here. Looks like they're starting the formation lap already. Is that what we're seeing? We'll be back to you in just a moment. We are in a 5-minute warm-up right now, I'm seeing. So we're going to get them hustling because they are both in the feature race here. Very exciting times at Tracks VR. This is fantastic. Great racing there, Ethan. And I'm glad Shane was there during the heat race to sneak in there as well. So we're going to go give them a quick pep talk, get them in the race, and yeah. Tracks VR is making it into the feature. Thanks everyone for tuning in today here. Right now we're watching from our pit wall of Shane and Ethan in warm-up. There's 30 seconds left in the warm-up session before we move on to the feature race. If you are enjoying the stream today, please like and subscribe. Thanks for those of you who are tuning into the chat. If you're enjoying the stream, let us know in the chat. Sound off in the chat. Let's show some support for our drivers representing Tracks VR today, Ethan and Shane. That's all very exciting. We just snuck into the feature race here. Shane made it through in P2 in heat race number 5. And Ethan, who would have made it through but got bumped off track, forcing him to go into the second chance race, but coming home in P4 in the second chance race. Both of them securing their spots in the feature where there is cash on the line. the race. All right, we have Shane and Ethan starting side by side again. Looks like Ethan on the inside lane. It seems to be working out for him so far. He started on the inside lane both times so far, and both times he's been able to make some moves on... Sorry, I'm mistaken. They're not side by side. They're both on the inside row. I see Shane there. Ignore the pylon on the left. The grid order is not accurate. It'll probably be updated as they cross the line. Ethan is in P23, if I understand correctly. Shane is up on let's see if we get the camera on Shane there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I imagine that is P12, if I understand correctly. Both of them on the inside row. Hopefully they can make some moves. There's green flag. Ethan was still around in turn 11 as the green flag was thrown, so he probably lost a little bit of ground there. We're going to follow Shane into turn 1. He's got a Send It Porsche on the right-hand side of him. And they ran very wide. One car went off. Hopefully he stays put. There's another Sim Racing Chicago car spinning out on the exit of turn 2. The field is coming up into turn 3 here. We have not enough visible cars on the screen available. No, one of the Sim Racing Chicago cars spun Ethan out into turn 3. No way. Let's, as he rejoins the track here, looks like Shane's got one of the Texas drivers from, if I remember correctly, One Line Racing there, along with a Send It Sim Racing Porsche right behind him. Shane right behind the Martini livery Porsche. I see he has a little bit of damage there. He may have been involved in the little bit of a bumping in that turn 2 incident in the Andretti hairpin. Coming up to the corkscrew for the first time. Big send from the from the, no pun intended, Send It Sim Racing Porsche. Luckily didn't collect Shane as they came through there. Wow. What an intense battle here. I think I just saw a car slip off to the right-hand side. There was another one down a runaway lane there. Wow, lots of carnage on this first race here. Shane climbed quite a few positions, I believe. We'll see where his position updates to as he crosses the line. Shane bumping up from 15th all the way to, he is now in. He bumped up to 11th place, 4 spots gained on lap 1. He's got a bit of breathing room here now. Maybe we'll tune in with Ethan here. Oh, there's another car. I think the Martini liveried car. I don't know the driver there. Just retired from the race by the looks of it. I see cars dropping left, right, and center here. It looks like we are going to be restarting the session. We just got word from the organizers that we are going to be restarting the session. I might give Ethan a little bit of a second chance there because he got spun out in turn 3 by one of the Sim Racing Chicago drivers. I don't think it looked intentional by any means, but hopefully he has some better luck here once we rejoin the session here. We're just going to go to the time in between races screen here because we're going to be restarting this race by the sounds of it. Ethan looks very relieved to be getting a second chance here. I like to see that smile on his face there. There's Shane pulling off track here now before we move on to a race restart. I want to give another quick shout out to our sponsors here, Memory Express and Moza Racing. Both drivers today are driving with Moza equipment. Moza's been a partner with us for a little while now. We carry all their products. We recently got in the very fancy Vision GS wheels, and they are racing with the Moza R9 direct drive setup. It's the same thing I personally use at home as well. It's a very good mid-entry level direct drive steering wheel, and they have CRP pedals on both those simulators. And from our other sponsor, Memory Express, both of these computers came from Memory Express. We deal with them very frequently with all of our customer sim builds. They're always there to lend a helping hand, and we get a lot of customers directed to us when people are go there asking for sim racing peripherals. They very frequently direct people over to check our store out. We're not far from them, and yeah, we get a lot of traffic thanks to them. So a big shout out to Memory Express and shout out to Moza Sim Racing. Thank you. So this final feature race, this is a 30-minute race. Rolling start, of course, as per usual with GT racing.
Start the countdown.
I want to find the total tally of prizes here for the prize pool. And I know $1,600 is the grand prize for P1 in this race, but the prizes go all the way down to 6th place. Plus all the qualifiers, not just the 25 in this race, but all the qualifiers are being put into a random draw for the year VIP subscription to iRacing as well.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Just working on getting our driver signed into the new server for the race restart here. You can see from the pit wall, our driver is prepping for the race restart here.
Mission log 2050-01. The entire population is under sleep.
Okay, so I found the total prize listing here. So it's $4,500 US cash total for the top 6 drivers. First place will be taking home $1,600. Second place, there's $1,000 up for grab. Third place, $700. Fourth place will be walking home with $500 cash. $400 for 5th place and $300 for 6th place. So lots of money on the line here today. Should be a lot of fun. Hopefully we can send our Trax VR drivers home a little bit richer today. Okay, it appears we're currently in a practice session right now, but it looks like we're going to be skipping that once all the drivers are loaded back into this new server before we do a 15-minute qualifying to establish the starting order for this feature race. The feature race will be 30 minutes of all 25 qualifying drivers, and hopefully Ethan and Shane can get themselves a good starting position. They both seem to excel with that inside line into the Andretti hairpin, so an odd-numbered qualifying position might be beneficial for them.
jump program. Opening the vortex. Start the countdown. Five, four, three, two, one. Mission log 2050-01. The entire population is under sleep. Oxygen levels are normal. We arriving at the destination. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Just tuning in on practice here, currently following Shane's car. They now show up on the pylon on the left as Tracks VR1 for Shane and Tracks VR2 for Ethan. Currently sitting at 9th and 18th in the qualifying. Sorry, this is not qualifying, this is practice. In the practice standings. Moving on to qualifying in looks like about 6 minutes. All right, we are less than a minute away from moving on to our feature race qualifying session. I believe it is a 15-minute quali they will be doing. Yes, I see on the screen here, 15-minute quali we'll be moving on to. If I understand correctly, this is actually going to be a hot qualifying session, so they're not going to be one car on track like they were for the heat race qualifying. It's going to be all 25 cars sharing the track for this qualifying session, unless I am mistaken. I guess we'll find out in about 20 seconds time. Ethan and Shane getting ready there. We have the camera on them on the pit wall. I'm sure they're doing some last minute mental prepping so they get the best qualifying position possible. All right, open qualifying session starting here. Last cars are just loading into this session. I can hear the first car heading to track right now. Oh man, everyone's going all at once. So it is an open qualifying like I suspected. I see Ethan making his way to track right now with the camera. Oh, and Shane's coming as well. Going to be a very, very busy first lap. All right, following Ethan, he's exiting the pit lane to start his out lap. Shane just a few car lengths behind to start his out lap. Looks like they've made themselves a fairly reasonable sized buffer. And I see the rest of the field is sort of dispersed a little bit on this out lap. On the track map in the top right hand corner, as you can see there, looks like there's a bit of a cluster between turn 5 and 6 right now. So I think Ethan and Shane played their cards right to get a little bit more breathing room for the qualifying session. Ethan right now is closing in on that Martini liveried car. I don't know what sim center they're representing. The first car is just starting with their first flying lap right now, and the rest of the field is coming around shortly behind. Looks like Ethan is letting Shane go through for the this first flying lap here. Shane did have the faster of the initial qualifying times to get them into this, to get them qualified for this event today. Maybe that's why. So he didn't want holding Shane up, but Ethan did have a really good first race there. He did start ahead of him in the qualifying this morning. Or, earlier this afternoon, I should say, for the heat races. So they're both really close. Ethan got some fans in the chat there. Thanks for tuning into the chat there. Not a deer, and yeah, go Ethan and go Shane. Shane dealing with a little bit of traffic from that Martini liveried Porsche. Maybe possibly get a little bit of advantage for some slipstream, but more likely being a little bit hindered by being in traffic here. So hopefully he gets a little bit more breathing room than that. And we still have 11 minutes, nearly 12 minutes in the qualifying session here, so lots of time to get some good times on the leaderboard. We're going to be following on board Ethan for the next lap here. We'll see where Shane falls in on this first flying lap here. He went outside the line there. I don't know if that'll invalidate the lap time or not. I'm not sure how strict iRacing is on the track limits there. It didn't put him on the leaderboard, so yes. Where things have stumbled around here. Yeah, I don't think it took that lap time from Shane. But Ethan has moved into 15th spot there with his first flying lap. We're going to follow on board with Ethan for the second flying lap here. He's got a little bit more breathing room here than Shane had. Although Shane is actually not too far in front of Ethan right now. He's just trying to get rid of that. I don't know if they've discussed any strategies like that in this qualifying session or not. Try and get some post-race interviews with them before we shut down the stream today. But, that's still a ways away. We still got a half-hour race. Ooh, getting really close between each other there into the corkscrew. We'll see where they end up here. I've lost track of where Shane is on the leaderboard here. But, there we go. Shane jumped up on the leaderboard there. We're going to pull up the lap times on the screen for a second here. Shane with a 1:23.4, so pretty close between the two, just a couple tenths. I realized that when I brought those times on screen there, they were blocked by our driver cameras, so I guess it's a good thing we read it out loud. Oh, Shane getting alongside a Mustang here. So far today, both Ethan and Shane have been faster than that Mustang. I'm assuming anyways, just based on pace. Neither of them have shared the track with it yet, but that Mustang was a little further down the order in its respective heat races. And both Ethan and Shane were in the top 5, obviously, because they made it into this feature race. So obviously, in the top quarter of the grid in both races, they were in earlier today. Ethan coming into the pit lane there, maybe for some fresh tires, and he's burned some fuel off, or maybe just taking a bit of a moment to gather himself or find a more empty spot on the track, possibly. Shane's got lots of breathing room on this lap here. There's see a couple cars on pit exit right now. He should end up just in front of that Sim Racing Porsche, and not too far behind another one, but I think that's more than enough breathing room to get a solid quality lap in here. So let's see if Shane can push himself up that leaderboard a little further in a better starting position than his current sitting of 20th. All right, here comes Shane. Oh, he's going to the pit lane. I thought he had lots of room there to get a good lap in. It looked like he was pushing pretty hard, so I thought he was going to complete that lap and get a time on the board, but going into the pit lane instead. Looks like Ethan is driving right now. He's coming back out of the pit lane, so I imagine he's on an out lap right now. So we're going to tune in with Ethan here. So Ethan on his out lap right now, coming into turn 8A and B of the corkscrew. Start another flying lap here in just a moment. Currently sitting in 17th in the overall standings in this qualifying session. I see him pushing hard in turn 10 and 11. Going to try and get a good exit out of this final corner. Get lots of straight line speed on straightaway. Yeah, going nice and slow for the entry to get a nice clean exit so we can get hard on the throttle nice and early. That's a good approach to getting a good launch down the front straightaway of the Minnesota, because that turn 11, it's nearly a hairpin corner to the left. And getting a good late apex, you can get on the throttle nice and early, is really critical to getting a good lap time, especially with how long it is a run from turn 11 all the way down to turn 2 of the Andretti hairpin. Here he is in turn 3 right now, going up to the Firestone Bridge, up to turn 4. Lots of breathing room, no one breathing down his neck to distract him, no one in front of him to interrupt his lap. Using full use of the track width there, which is good. Coming up to turn 5, another corner where it's really critical to get a good exit, because it's all uphill from turn 5 all the way up to the corkscrew. If you don't get that good exit, trying to accelerate your car uphill, a little bit wide through turn 6. Hopefully that doesn't invalidate his lap. You see how strict the track limits are being enforced on this track here. Nice and tidy through the corkscrew, coming back down to turn 9. This is a really fun corner. Not quite flat out in these cars. Most of my time sim racing these cars was Indy cars, a little more downforce. It is very nearly flat out. It can be flat out if you do get the corner right. But these GT3 cars, there's a bit of a lift through that turn 9 downhill, fast sweeping corner. I know I was trying some laps just to see what these drivers are up for. Yeah, looks like his position didn't update here. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. No, his position still didn't update, so I think that lap was invalidated by running wide on turn 6 there. But yeah, what I was saying about turn 9 there, it's still a very fast corner GT3 car. There's a lot of throttle modulation to keep your pace up, but not to either send it into an oversteer situation as you come through the corner, or understeering is even more likely at corner exit before you get to turn 10. You run out of the track very quickly if you get too hard on the throttle through turn 9 there. Here comes Bain starting another flying lap here, coming through turn 11 in the Porsche. His first flying lap again since coming out of the pit lane. We'll see how he gets along on this next flying lap here. So right now, Shane is sitting 24th in his current qualifying time, so he's looking to improve. He hasn't had a good, clean lap with no cars distracting him or getting in his way yet. So this is going to be his first flying lap with no traffic to deal with. So this should be an improvement for him. As long as he keeps the track limits, we don't want an invalidated lap here. Looking good through turn 6. He's in full track width and good pace through that corner. A bit of a banked corner there. You can be quite fast despite how tight of a kink that corner is. Nice and tidy through the corkscrew, getting full use of the curbs there while still staying in track limits. Turn 9, that fast downhill left-hand corner, right out to the exit. Turn 10 is another very fast corner, but then hard on the brakes going into turn 11. It's a very tight corner, as I was talking about earlier. Nice late apex, so he gets a good exit down the straightaway, and we'll see where that brings him. Hopefully it gets him up that order a little bit further, and jumping from 24th up to 20th, so a little bit of an improvement there. 1:23.03 was his lap time there, so definitely an improvement. And let's take a quick look here. Oh, and then that's actually slotted him just ahead of Ethan. Try and track down Ethan here on track. TV director has taken a moment away to take a bathroom break before we get into the final race here, so I'm juggling both duties at once. Here comes Ethan through turn 11. Let's see where he is at on this lap. Hopefully it's another improvement so we can get both Tracks VR cars further up the leaderboard. And no position gain. I think that may have been an invalidated lap, so I'm not seeing a last lap time from him there. There's still enough time on the clock for him to get another flying lap in, so let's follow along with Ethan for this lap and see where he brings it. We've had a lot of races so far today with Tracks VR cars side by side. This, as it currently stands, is going to be another race with not quite side by side actually. It's going to be, as it currently stands, Shane one row ahead of Ethan. Ethan climbing the hill up towards turn 6. Ooh, fair bit of curb there. Ooh, I think he kept his inside tires on the track surface though, so I think he's legal. I think I heard the side body of the car hitting a sausage curb. It's a really aggressive curb there. Taking it off too much will definitely send you way wide, and I think there was a little bit of that, but he managed to keep within track limits as far as my eyes can tell. We'll see how his lap time reflects. Nice and tidy through turn 11 on the power. Oh, he's all the way on the curb. I'm not sure how iRacing treats that or not. I bumped a button there. That was a lap time. That was a 1:22.8, so it is an improvement for him. That sends him all the way up to 14th. Big improvement. That puts him right just shy of the middle of the pack. So that is great job from Team Track VR here. Let's track down Shane. I imagine he's on his last flying lap right now as well. Where is he on track here? This is turn 10, I believe. Oh, running a bit wide, but not outside track limits. Let's see if he's on an improved lap or not. He was dealing with a 1:23.0 for his last clean lap that he's had. Coming across the line with a 1:24.2, so no improvement from him. But he's still got a few cars behind him. He'll be playing rear gunner at the start for Ethan going into the final race there. That's checkered flag on the session. We're just going to double check to see if Ethan is on another lap here. No, he is. He did finish his last flying lap already, but that puts him pretty well in the middle of the grid for the start of the race. What is that? That is a 14th position, so he's going to be on the outside row for the first time going into a race. See the little bit of fist bump from the two teammates there. There's been a lot of good camaraderie between these two drivers. Even not just between these two drivers, but we run a Discord server. There's actually a QR code to join it right on screen there. But the exchanges between all the drivers that tried to qualify for this event here, many of them would come in almost on a daily basis to try and improve their lap times. It was really exciting to see. I want to give a shout out to they're actually even spectating here today, both Nick and Matt. They were both in numerous times here. Matt and Ethan were very close in their lap times. They exchanged laps right down till the last day of the overall qualifying session here. But moving on to the race here in just a moment. Qualifying order is on screen here. Tracks VR2 you'll see in P14. That is driven by Ethan, and then Shane in Tracks VR1 in 21st there. So it looks like he seemed to remember he was in 20th, so he fell down one spot. That might have been actually Ethan that knocked him down that one spot, because Ethan was behind him, if I recall correctly. But now Ethan's improved his time to get him up there. That might have been faster than his actual qualifying session to get into this event overall. That was a fast lap from Ethan. Very well done from both of them. We got a minute 50 countdown till green flag. As you see the leaderboard populating here, we're looking at Ethan and Shane in their starting spots for the formation lap here as all the cars load in. 30-minute race coming up your way. Excuse me, sorry. Gonna be a heated battle for sure. The way the first attempt at this race, before we did the whole server restart, there was a lot of carnage. So hopefully they can keep their noses clean and get a good first lap and maybe gain some positions in the first couple corners, and get some breathing room later on in the race to chase down the front of the pack. Top 6 drivers, as I mentioned earlier, are walking away with some cash prizes today. So they got a little bit of climbing up that ladder to get to that position, but they've been really strong all day today. The super lap cars today have been very strong. There's one super lap driver, one position behind Ethan. On the row behind them, but to the left, there's that green and white super lap car. I'm sure he's been gunning hard to try and slip up the inside. So hopefully Ethan can get some good defense, or maybe even if he's lucky, slip in along that, slip ahead of that Texas liveried car on his left there going into the ring. All right, this is the final race of the day here, guys. It's been a long time coming. We had many heat races have gone through. Ethan just barely made it into this race. He finished P4 in the second chance. This is super exciting to have both our drivers. We were talking yesterday before this event here. It didn't even matter so much if we made it to this final race here. It was more about just representing well for Team Tracks VR, but this is all the more exciting that we are able to represent ourselves in this final feature race here. Both these drivers, very fast. Just tripping over my words with the excitement here. I can hardly contain it. Moving into the race. Green flag will probably be thrown before Shane comes through turn 11 here. There's green flag right there, just as Ethan is coming onto the throttle out of turn 11 there. He's a car length ahead of the super lap car, so he can hold that inside line hopefully and get some defense. The Texas car and that Grid Lounge car side by side going into turn 2. Super lap snuck in. Ethan, a little bit of a bump there. I hope he just shakes it off and keeps on going. We'll leave it up to the event organizers to determine anything of that. I hope that doesn't distract Ethan with his driving, because I don't think an incident like that is too much to worry about. It's always hairy into those first corners there. Just keep pushing hard. Where's Shane at? Shane's not too far back there. He got through fairly clean. Looking up the inside of that red and white black Porsche. Not quite enough room to make a move just yet. Nice and fast in turn 6 from Ethan. Build a little breathing room. That blue and yellow car, he was stuck behind Ethan for a very long time in that first heat race in 2005. That blue and yellow Porsche got shunted into him from behind from one of the other drivers earlier. So I don't think there's any hard feelings between them, because it was neither of their faults in that incident there. But I know they'll be pushing hard, because they raced side by side for a very long time in heat race number 5. I see that blue and yellow car. Not Trenton McMillan. It shows that on the leaderboard right now. That's still up there on the crossing line here. I don't think that driver's name. I think it's now showing Sim Center instead. It's from Gripworks Racing. It's that blue and yellow Porsche. They both got a fair bit of breathing room here. Shane is following close behind the red, white, and black Porsche of Nicholas Stathis. I still have yet to catch the logo of the Sim Center on the door there, but I believe they've been on track at one point earlier today. I recognize the name. Shane taking a peek up the inside, but he knows he's not quite close enough to make a move yet, but he's definitely feeling it out. He knows, I'm sure he's planning ahead where he's going to make a move when the window opens up later on in the race. Ethan with a little bit more breathing room, probably focusing more on the Gripworks car behind him than who's in front of him at the moment, but hopefully that doesn't distract him. The cars ahead of Ethan, that would be Zach Everman and One Line Racing. They're pretty close. They're going to be battling hard, which could slow them down, giving Ethan an opportunity to close the gap and he's ahead. He's made some good passes into turn 2. I always get that wrong in this track. Turn 1 is part of the corner. It's the flat out left-hander. We're at the peak of the hill here. We come through right now. What I was meant to say was he makes some good passes on turn 2, which is the Andretti hairpin. Shane getting passed on the outside by that Martini livery Porsche. Oh, not a full pass though. He ran out of track, didn't have the grip to hang it on the outside. He actually lost a position. He fell one position back. Now we have that gray and white livery. I'm not sure. I think that Lee Martinez, that gray and white livery behind Shane there. We're now following the race between Ethan and the Gripworks driver, currently going uphill towards turn 6. Ethan probably hasn't had this much breathing room all race now, so now he's got lots of lots of room to push hard and try and close in these cars ahead. A little bit of bumping between Lee and Shane as they go up to turn 7. Now they dive down into the corkscrew of turn 8A and B. It's a close race between these two. Lee is looking left, right, and all over, trying to find a spot to get past Shane, but Shane's playing hard defense. But it looks like he's really focusing more on Nicholas ahead of him in the Texas liveried car from, I want to say, One Line Racing. I think yeah, I'm getting the nod. That is One Line Racing in the Texas themed car ahead of him. And sorry, I was saying it was Lee that was behind. Oh, sorry. Yep, the leaderboard just updated. It is in fact Lee behind Shane. Shane a little bit wide there, just as again there. Yeah, Lee managed to slip through past Shane there, but he's still close behind. And Lee looks like he's a pretty aggressive driver there. He's making lots of peaks inside and out. I'm sure he's fast, but we'll see how hard he's pushing. That might end up having a more heated race between One Line Racing and Nicholas Lee, the One Line Racing. I'm getting my things jumbled up here because the leaderboard's only updating as we cross the line here. The point I'm trying to get at is that Shane has a chance to close the gap and get that back into the battle there with the Texas car. This Martini liveried car of Connor Clifford, if I'm not mistaken. They've been close on track in every session that I've seen them together with so far. They're very frequently there. Oh, the Martini car runs a little bit wide. Hopefully he doesn't have too dirty of a tires and slip into the back of our Porsche. Looking good so far. Taking a look at the leaderboard here, Ethan is still gunning down for those same two cars ahead. They're going side by side into the Andretti hairpin, and Ethan's going to take a lunge up on the inside of that One Line car, and he has enough speed to get ahead, actually. So now he's chasing down, I believe that is Zach Everman in the black and white Porsche from Grid Lounge. And now the two cars behind Ethan are side by side going to turn 4 too, so that's actually going to slow them down, giving Ethan even more room to focus on the car ahead. Moving on to turn 6. As the cars behind Ethan go side by side into, sorry, I said turn 6, I meant turn 5. They're now going on to turn 6. This is a fast, not quite full throttle corner, a bit of a lift to get turned into that corner, fast up the hill as they veer right before diving down into the corkscrew here. I think Ethan's been nice and tidy through that corner all day today. It can be a daunting corner. If you get on the throttle too early, it's easy to spin yourself out there. Shane's still sticking ahead of Connor in the Martini livery car. Connor went wide on this corner last time around, keeping it just on the curb this time, getting half a tire into the dirt, making a pass, but I think Shane's going to get the better exit here. I don't think, again, this is all leaving it up to the race stewards on their end, but I don't think Connor was making that corner with the line he was taking, so a little bit of bumping was, in my view, inevitable. But like I said, we have the Tracks VR bias here. We're rooting for our drivers. Sim Racing Chicago close behind Shane. Those Sim Racing Chicago drivers have been pretty fast all day today as well. They have quite a few, I think they have a total of 5 or 6 cars total in the challenge today. I don't know how many of them made it through to this final race. There's Sim Racing Chicago cars everywhere we look. Ethan pulling a little bit of a bigger gap to the Gripworks driver behind them. Still chasing down the black and white car of Zach Everman. Oh, Zach Everman ran wide through turn 6. That's another position up for Ethan. Nicely done. Nicely done. We got a big gap from. It shows 13th on the leaderboard, but that's actually 12th place right now for Ethan. But a big gap to 11th place now. But 11th place, that is Tyler A. King and... Oh, they've actually swapped positions. So Tyler and... I'm just going to call it BLK00. I'm not sure how else to identify that name on the leaderboard there. They appear to be close on track. So that's going to help Ethan close them in over the course of the race. There's still more than 2/3 of this race left. So lots of time to catch up. They're not out of sight of Ethan there. And it looks like the blue and yellow Gripworks car has slipped ahead of Zach Everman as well. We're going to quickly tune in with Shane here. He's still keeping his lead ahead of that Sim Racing Chicago car. With all the battling between Shane and Ethan, it appears that Shane's actually closed the gap overall to Ethan as well. So our two Tracks VR cars are pretty close together here. Looks like about a approximately 5 second, they're varying from 3 to 5 seconds depending on where they're at on track between Ethan and the car ahead of him, which is Tyler A. King, which caught a glimpse of the car as it came to turn 11. It looks like it's a Corvette. I could be mistaken. We'll find out here pretty soon because it is a Corvette. It's one of the white and green Corvettes for the Super Lab, racing against Send It Sim Racing's Porsche right now. That whole field, how many cars we have in that battle there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars, all grouped pretty closely together. That's going to work in Ethan's favor. There he is. You can just see him on the top right-hand side of the screen there as he closes in. He's still got the Gripworks car, not too far behind. I don't believe that Gripworks car is close enough to make a move on Ethan. But I'm sure all three of those drivers are pushing hard, trying to close that gap. You can actually see on the track map on the top right-hand corner of the screen how big of a gap there is from 12th place to 11th. You can see in that group there, 7th through 11th, all really close. They're just coming through turn 9 there, as our driver is coming through the corkscrew, coming up turn 9 as well. Nice clean racing this race so far. Just catching a glimpse of Shane coming through turn 11 there as the camera panned to follow Ethan. He's got that Porsche really close behind him. But still, I don't think that Porsche is quite in striking distance. Shane's got a lot of room there. He looks like he's pulled a bit of a gap to that Sim Racing Chicago car. Last time we saw them, they were pretty close, but now there is a over 1 second gap by the looks of it between Sim Racing Chicago and our Tracks VR driver, Shane. Porsche, a little wide coming out of turn 3, but he's got that breathing room. Oh, and then through turn 4, that Sim Racing Chicago did the same thing that Shane did on turn 3. He went and about just as wide as he did, so I think they're going to hold their distances pretty evenly. Switch back to Ethan here. Coming through the corkscrew. The Gripworks Porsche still right there with him. But I think it looks like he's trying to plan a move there, but it's not quite in that striking distance. He got a couple tires into the dirt out of turn 10. I don't know how that's going to affect his exit into turn 11. Not sure how much gravel it would have collected to change how he puts the power down out of turn 11 down the front straightaway. Definitely a close race. There's less than a car's length between the two cars now. They're doing a pretty flawless lead follow here. They're following the exact same line of each other, although that time Porsche put a couple tires onto the dirt there. Well, Ethan managed to keep it on the curb there. Oh, Gripworks all the way, all 4 tires on the dirt there for a moment. He's pushing hard. He really wants that spot that Ethan's holding. But Ethan's keeping it nice and tidy at the moment. Great driving from our Tracks VR driver as Gripworks get the tires on the dirt again. Coming into the corkscrew again. I'm sure they're all feeling a little hot under the collar as they are fighting for this 12th place position. Gripworks taking a peek up the inside before turn 9. Nowhere near close enough to make a move yet. I'm sure he's thinking about making a move, but he hasn't quite found the spot yet. I'm surprised he's able to follow as close as he is with how frequently he's getting those tires in the dirt there. I hope he doesn't doesn't let the desperation get the better of him and go for a lunge that he's not close enough to make. It's been really good racing, but I'm just being reminded of this blue car was a victim of someone doing that very thing I was just describing back in heat race number 3, if you guys missed it. Sorry, heat race number 5. It was the first race at our Tracks Fair drivers. We had Ethan in P2, the Gripworks driver in P3, another Porsche in P4, and then our Porsche driven by Shane in P5, all grouped up very closely together. Coming up to the corner, they're coming up to right now the corkscrew. The Porsche behind the Gripworks driver misses braking point from our perspective and ran into the back of the Gripworks driver, which then sent the Gripworks car into the back of Ethan, which forced him to run wide across the corkscrew, which then he had to do an off-throttle time penalty, basically give back the distance that the automatic stewarding thought he gained, which then cost Ethan the second place finish. Shane managed to slip through. It did give Shane the second place finish for that heat race. Ethan forced Ethan to take part in the second chance race, but he did manage to perform very well in that second chance race, coming home in 4th during the spot in this feature race that we're watching now. There's Shane there, still a sim race in Chicago, shortly behind. That gap appears to be about the same as it was before. Looking at the timetable, it is just shy of a second. Oh, a little bit of carnage between, I believe that is one line racing. He looked like he was missing a front bumper, so he came together with someone else. I'm not too sure who. Someone else, yeah, it is one line that has the front bumper missing. And sim racing in Chicago is no longer directly behind behind Shane. It is now the, I wonder if that's Joshua Bullington. We'll find out when we come across the line and the leaderboard gets updated. Speaking of that, looks like the order of 11th, 12th, and 13th remains the same. The sim racing in Chicago, the car that was chasing down Shane, just ran a little bit wide coming through turn 9. There's another. I thought there was only one Mustang in the grid. There was 2 Mustangs, a green one there as well. He went a little wide on the turn 11, so this pack is going to gain on that Mustang a little bit. That, I believe, is strange. That is very strange. I saw P26 on the screen as well. We're looking at the track map here. We may have misunderstood how many drivers are in this race. It's that there's a P30 on the track briefly according to our sim hub overlay. But that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I also saw P26 briefly, but they only showed up there briefly. Now they're gone. So not too sure what's going on there, but whatever it was, it is come and gone. And Shane is chasing down that one-line racing car in the gray and white livery, the one missing the front bumper in front of him. There was some contact out of turn 4 between that car and someone else. I saw someone lost a rear wing. I imagine that car's fallen further behind, having missing that rear wing. You see the concentration on Shane's face there on the straightaway, taking a quick glance at his overlays and deltas, I'm sure. I see on the track map there, Ethan's got quite a bit of room, both front and back. So this is the close battle on track for the Tracks VR cars. This is where we saw the carnage 1 lap ago in turn 4. This is Ethan we're following now, heading up towards the corkscrew. Sorry, my mistake. I'm a little ahead of myself. That was actually turn 6 he just came through. Now heading up towards the corkscrew. Nice big gap behind him. Lots of breathing room to help him push hard for the P11 car ahead of him. In turn 9 as Ethan points through turns 8A and B. One car really close behind Shane, looking up the inside, going to the corkscrew. I think he's going to run a little wide there. No, they're both in there fairly tight. That was admittedly a very good pass from Nicholas there, but Shane right in the thick of it, with Sim Racing Chicago right behind them again. Oh, Sim Racing Chicago, look at the inside. Shane defending hard into turn 11. That's going to hurt his pace following Nicholas there onto the front straightaway there, but he's sticking with them pretty well considering how early of a turn he had to make to keep the Sim Racing Chicago car out way behind him. That actually, as far as defense go, that was an excellent defensive move from Shane because he actually caused that Sim Racing Chicago car to lose some ground behind him. We're now into the final 10 minutes of the race. Tracks VR number 2, driven by Ethan. Safely in 12th place there, driving a very clean race. Not a lot of drama there. All the drama is right here in the fight for 18th. Sorry, I should call this the fight for 17th because there's these 3 cars fairly close. Sim Racing Chicago trying to look up the inside going into turn 6. It's a daunting corner to try and make a pass up the inside. You run out of room very fast. If you do get 2 cars going side by side, both cars are really need the full track width to carry any pace through that corner. Coming down through the corkscrew into turn 9. I don't think the Sim Racing Chicago car is quite as close as he was last lap. He made a really big lunge on Shane here. Last lap looks like Shane's taking his usual turn-in point rather than the really early turn-in he used last lap to defend against the Sim Racing Chicago driver. The defense against Sim Racing Chicago has definitely cost him a little bit of advantage on Nicholas Stathis in the red, white, and black car ahead of him. But he's definitely keeping him in his sights there. And there has been a couple of surprise moments that have popped up here and there. We've seen cars losing front bumpers and losing rear wings here and there, so there's still 8 minutes on the clock. Surprises could still happen. Currently, the leader of the race is I'm just going to try and find it there. It is a Send It Sim Racing car. Now I know what that acronym is for, the SISR, Send It Sim Racing. I should have been able to figure that out. And there's another Send It Sim Racing car just in front of our driver, Ethan, in P12 with a Send It Sim Racing car in P11. Just did a quick look at all the cars coming through the Andretti hairpin there. There's the Send It Sim Racing car ahead of Ethan, and there is Ethan not too far behind. He's been gunning hard to close that gap. The gap was about 5 seconds earlier. It's come down to about 4 seconds, so he's definitely gaining. Probably not as quickly as he would like to be gaining, but there's still 6 minutes. Anything can happen, like I said. Oh, we missed it on camera here, but the red car of... I'm not remembering the name. I'm not seeing the leaderboard there, but the red car that Shane was chasing down has made a mistake, and Shane's actually slipped up a position up into 17th, and he's actually closer to One Lines Racing gray and white Porsche again. It's been a couple laps since he's been able to chase down that car. We've got a nice big gap to Chicago behind him. setting up a nice entry into the chicane, using more of that track width than One Line Racing was. I don't know if One Line Racing was thinking defensively, try and keep Shane behind him or not. That gap, since we switched back this camera, it appears the gap to One Line Racing in front of Shane has closed. There's a lot of damage on that front end of that Porsche. I don't know if that's affecting the handling or not. I know it's not like an F1 car where they have high amounts of downforce on the front end of the car, but there is some. I'm sure iRacing does factor that in to a degree. I'm just not too sure how much it really affects. He's making a big lunge into the Andretti hairpin, maybe a little bit too big, but he's closed that gap rapidly. Definitely putting the pressure on. I'm sure. I hope he remembers that for next lap there. Definitely making him sweat. Now, I can say that's One Line Racing, but it's showing still on our leaderboard that Lee Martinez is the car in front of Shane. Or maybe I was mistakenly calling it One Line Racing earlier. Now I'm remembering now. One Line Racing has the Texas livery. That is Lee Martinez. The last couple laps we're into the last 5 minutes of the race here now. The leaders are just starting their lap. We're going to tune in with Ethan here briefly. Ethan's actually right behind I've been informed this is a lapped car actually. Maybe he can use a bit of a toe down the front straightaway to build that gap in the Gripworks car behind. I think last time we saw these cars together on camera, there was a closer gap than this. So Ethan is holding a nice big gap. Hopefully this Mercedes leaves the door open for him. There it is. Very gentlemanly of the Mercedes, but not so gentlemanly to the Gripworks car. I'm sure he'll be cussing as he's trying to catch up to our driver Ethan there, but it paid off in our benefit, so we won't be mentioning anything about that. Oh, Shane has slipped ahead of Lee Martinez there. That's been a long-fought battle there. We did say that was probably going to happen into turn 1, and that may have happened there. Unfortunately, we didn't catch it, but we'll definitely be trying to save this replay file and maybe see what happened there, see how that overtake occurred. Now, what's the gap from Shane to One Line Racing ahead there? Just trying to spot where they're at in the track map. It's a bit of a gap there. So I think with the last 3 minutes, unless something happens, I think that might be the position that Shane is fighting for the remainder of the race, but he's got a bit of a buffer. He doesn't have to worry about driving too defensively with that kind of gap to the car behind him. There's Ethan again, fighting for holding on to position 12. Gripworks behind into the last 3 minutes of the race there. Gripworks car still pushing hard. He's been pushing hard all race. With how hard he's pushing and how many times he gets a couple tires on the gravel there in the runoff areas, I'm surprised he's been able to hang on to it. Look at him go wide there. I don't know how many times he's ran wide there, but it seems very frequent. But he seems to hang on to that distance to Ethan every single time. You can see the length of this race has the effects in the car. You can see how much dust has built up on the door of this Ferrari. Yeah, it looks like it's fought a hard battle, and he certainly has been fighting hard. Ooh, a little squirrely on the exit for the Gripworks car coming out of turn 9. Nice, even more room to breathe for Ethan as he rounds out through turn 11. Looking at where the leader's at here, coming up to turn 4 with 1:46 on the clock. If I were to hazard a guess, it's going to go one more lap beyond this one. But iRacing has been throwing some curveballs at me that I'm not used to. It's possible we could be seeing a checkered flag at the end of this lap. It seems like when there's not too many seconds left on the clock, it just throws the checkered flag instead. So we'll see what happens when we get around to the last couple corners, whether we're going to see checkered this lap or not. I see the Send It Sim Racing Corvette is in a pretty heated battle with the car ahead of that. That looks like the Send It Sim Racing Porsche going into the corkscrew there. These are the cars that Ethan is chasing down right now. So, and yeah, the leader's crossing the line with 50 seconds to go, so that's going to be white flag out. This is the last lap. The leader has just started. Leader has a pretty big gap to Michael Polasek in P2. Ethan, some nice breathing room here. No pressure at the moment from Gripworks behind him. It looks like the battle in front of Ethan is still somewhat close. Yeah, they're side by side into the Andretti hairpin there. Oh,
Quad flag.
not no bumping between them. That Corvette's pulling up on the outside. This is going to slow them down big time. This is a bit of a long shot for Ethan, but these cars are going to be, they're both pushing really hard. They want that position. No cash at stake for the position they're fighting for, but it's going to slow them down. That's a battle to be inside the top 10 technically, so there is some bragging rights to be had there for sure. And it's going to help Ethan close the gap on them. Like I said, this is the last lap, so it's a bit of a long shot. But if those two cars take him out, that's going to be Ethan up to 10th. Coming up to the corkscrew last time there, we'll maybe briefly see a glimpse of the Corvette going over the horizon as they go into the corkscrew there. Oh, and the Send It Sim Racing Porsche is backwards. We'll see what happens with the Corvette. He might have to lift off the throttle. That's one more position up for Ethan. Where's the Corvette? Corvette is coming up to turn 11 right now. Ethan's got, I think he's got this position secured. The Corvette made it through that corner clean. That's one more position on the final lap for Ethan. Good hard push as he crosses the line. We're going to tune in with Shane for his last little bit of his lap. He's not too far behind. Here he comes. He's all by himself with Lee Martinez a little further back behind him, and the One Line Racing car from Texas just ahead of him. Both of them are up on their starting position. So a well-fought battle from both of them.
Checkered flag.
That's checkered flag for both of them.
Bring it back to the
We have to
way
thank
going.
Shane and Ethan hugely for their sportsmanship and representing us today. They really pulled their weight. We're so pleased to have had both of our Trax VR cars make it into the final race today. What an event. That was a lot of fun, and I have to say, not just today, but the whole event all through October, seeing the camaraderie between both these drivers, plus all the other drivers that tried to send in their qualifying attempts all through the month of October. Very fun. You can actually see one of our other qualifying giving them a high five, congratulating them. That's like the camaraderie I'm trying to get it there. Those other two drivers, those other two people in the room with them there, those were other competitors that were trying to qualify. They came on to cheer on their competitors. I absolutely love to see that level of sportsmanship. That's the Trax VR experience. We're going to try and gather them for some post-race interviews here. Don't go away. We'll see if we can hear from the drivers before we wrap up this stream. All right, we got both our drivers here, Ethan and Shane. If I remember correctly, both of you guys improved your finishing position from your starting position quite greatly. I'll just pass the microphone around and give you guys a rundown on how the race went for you. Here comes Ethan first.
Yeah, no, it was a fun race. I think I started somewhere around P22, basically where I qualified for the event in the first place. Yeah, and just kept my nose clean. Other guys in front made mistakes. I was able to capitalize, keep it on the track. And yeah, no, it was a fantastic race and a lot of fun. I'd like to thank Tracks VR for letting us participate in this event and having us here. Couldn't have done this race without them.
Yeah, definitely. And your mention there of letting things happen in front of you, letting them make their own mistakes, that very thing happened on that last lap. We were sort of talking about this from the start of the last lap right until the moment happened with the Corvette and the Porsche there. We were actually following that battle on camera, and they took each other out going in the corkscrew, which gets you one more position right in that last lap. So very exciting. Shane, how'd the race go for you?
Yeah, it went pretty good. I think I started like 23rd and managed to get her up to like 16th or something. But it was just a battle taking care of a few people out front that were making mistakes, and then one Porsche that just wouldn't give up. So we I think I had to bump him out of the way there and take it out. So it was a good time, and just thanks again, Tracks VR, for the whole day. You guys streaming and to virtual to reality for putting this on. It was a good race. It was good fun. I'd like to try it again. I think I got the next one.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to the next one as well. This has been a very fun experience for us, and definitely hope to be part of more of those. That bump you were mentioning with that Porsche, we were watching that one. In my books, that looked like a corner that driver wasn't going to make regardless. So, I mean, like I said, we have the Tracks VR bias here. We're rooting for our drivers, but I think your nose is clean on that one. So, thanks again, both our drivers. Thanks for Virtual to Reality for putting this on, and our sponsors, Memory Express and Moza Racing, for supporting us during the broadcast today. And thanks for the other competitors as well. And congratulations! I believe the Send It Sim Racing is the top finisher there, taking home the $1,600 cash prize. His name was Jordan, I'm being informed. So congratulations, Jordan, on the win. And I do believe there is a random draw for a year membership to iRacing. I'm not sure when that's being announced. I don't believe we'll catch that on stream today. But there's more prizes for all the qualifiers today regardless. So tons of fun. Looking forward to the next one. Thanks for watching, everyone, and tuning in and cheering on our drivers in the chat. We'll catch you next time. Cheers.